welcome back to my Dear Hatchet Man. And yes, day 2 is finally out! And we get to see more of our stupid, sexy Hatchet Man and his dreamy anime eyes. Today we're going to try to get Alan to get along with our friends, but no! This is about how you get to smooch the sexy, scary Hatchet Man and how good this man is with his teeth. Not that hard! Anyway, here are your content warnings. Now please enjoy yourselves. Day 2. Wait, what does that say back there? The better what you with... Great! Also, what's with the chimes? Should I be concerned? Whoa. I could have sworn I heard the door. Holy shit. My head was pounding from the intensity. What a way to start the morning. Ugh. I gotta stop waking up like this in cold sweat. What's up with me lately? Check messages. My hand scrambled to where I had left my phone. It only took a few minutes before the vibration signaled me where it was located. There you are. No new messages. Not from anyone I knew in particular, just usual social media notifications that I couldn't be bothered to check and... missing person alert? That's probably what violently woke me up. It gave me a basic info description, but it seemed to be out of my control, so I decided to ignore it. I let out a yawn as I stretched. Despite sleeping on the couch, I was more than comfortable. No soreness, no nothing. It was quite rare. Now, what to do to tackle the day? Oh, I guess I should probably eat. First things first, I need some new clothes to wear for the day. My room was practically overrun with dirty laundry. I could barely make out the shaggy carpet floor by the mass amount of sweaters, pants, and underwear. I should clean this up, but my empty stomach was winning the battle of this one. Not that much money, but I needed to at least get a few groceries. I don't plan on starving to death. It was a little earlier than I expected to get out. It was the earliest I'd gotten up in a while. Not since my first few days living alone. Jeez, back then I was practically glowing with the ambition to start classes, ready to face any challenges head on. Until now, that is. I would either show up late or barely manage to reach my classes. It felt like a chore, like most things. Most days. I hope I don't wake up at all. Huh? I wonder who... Erica. She doesn't usually call. We mostly talk through text. Got me curious. What could she possibly want to call me for? Hello? Erica?
You made it.
There's voice acting? Wait, what? There's voice acting? Hello?
You made it.
Lion, hi. I'm not interrupting anything important, am I? Yeah, I'm just on my way to get some food, but I'm fine talking. Huh. Is there a reason you called? I was only met with silence, but I could vaguely hear Erica make some sort of noise like she was deep in thought. Eri? Are you free later? I guess.
You guess.
I roll my eyes. Reply with sass, reply nervously. I'm gonna reply with all the sass. All the sass. Get to the point, Erica. I've got a bagel and a coffee with my name on it, and your little interrogation is not gonna stop me. Also, why is this sassy? This ain't sass, this is just plain rude. I heard a short but amused sound from her. Often in class, I would play around with Erica's dry sense of humor. Strangely, I enjoyed our interactions together. At ease, soldier. I just want to know if you want to study together for Professor McCroy. My roommate is off to do some arbitrary adventure and I don't want to be cooped up here. How does that sound? I could get caught up on some things. Better than rotting in your hermit cave. I sighed. Erica was unfortunately sort of aware of my situation. She has this almost supernatural sixth sense of being able to read other people. You wound me, Erica. I'll meet you at the park. With that, we both hung up. Guess those are my plans for today. I continued to walk, taking the opportunity to make a mental grocery list. I could pick up the faint sound of chopping? Chopping wood. It must have been Alan. Hello, strange woodman! I followed the sound to where it led me, not too far off from the small neighborhood of the college dorms. Even when I went into the thick wood, I could still see the house from a distance. Occasionally, the sound would deafen, but I was getting closer. Alan had to be around here somewhere. That is, if it was Alan and not some other weird guy from the woods lurking about. I snorted out through my nose at the laughable idea. Ah, it's my favorite strange man in the woods! It only took a few moments walking and I was able to spot that familiar wild man from the woods. Doe eyes, what a pleasant surprise. Can't help yourself but go in the woods, eh? I'm just as surprised as you are, Alan. I just followed the sound of chopping wood and I figured it was you. I could see beads of sweat slowly falling off of Alan's temples. There were a bunch of small pieces of wood scattered around him. He dropped his hatchet to the ground and dusted himself off any remaining wood chips. Just gathering firewood. It was starting to get cold in my cabin and I used up my last batch last night after I dropped you off. A fireplace and a cabin in the woods? Sounds like you're living the dream. Alan sounds great. Alan's hand went to the back of his neck and he laughed. Far from it, but... He took a second to pause. A huge gust of wind blew away some leaves, dancing along with the rustling of the branches from the trees. A short, cold breeze hits us by surprise. It's nice most of the time. You're the type to say you are one with nature, huh? Is that really a bad thing? I get to feed the raccoons for my trash. I can't imagine what else I'd do on a Wednesday night. They're like my pets. Raccoons? Alan, that's how your face got scratched! Alan flashed me a smile, not speaking but proceeded to point to both of his cheeks, almost as if he was showing them off proudly like badges of honor. Oh, don't tell me.
Rocky and Horde can be quite a handful. It was all my fault, though. I was being a little pushy with them.
I love Alan. Oh my god. I love how there's voice acting now. This was so worth the wait. Holy hell. You named them? I like giving them names. Oh, Sarah, so there were multiple animals involved. You should meet them. They are cute little guys. I'd be happy to meet them. As long as I can leave with a full set of eyes, nose, and mouth by the end of it. I'll be sure they won't even touch a single hair on that head of yours, doe eyes. I simply shook my head. The idea of raccoon sounded cute, but I know not to mess with the wildlife. That's still really dangerous, Alan. Alan's expression seemed like that of an innocent kid who had no idea what he did was wrong. Hey, I'm still alive. Besides, you should have gotten the hint that I disregard most things. You didn't complain about living so dangerously when I stole that chocolate. Hey, don't drag me into that! You stole that chocolate yourself! And you're my accomplice. In the eyes of the law, that makes us both criminals, my doe. Arrest me then, officer! Nope, I'm not a criminal. I can't even use this, because I am. Arrest me then, officer! I volunteer you as my cellmate. That way it'll be easier to break out of prison. Alan laughed at my jailmate escapism plan. Sounds perfect. Wouldn't mind you being my partner in crime. I could pick the locks for us. Of course you know how to pick locks. We continued to play around back and forth. It took nearly a solid minute for it to die down until we were left with small, awkward silence, but smiling at each other nonetheless. It was only then that Alan finally said something. By the way, is there a reason you came to find me? Actually, I got out of my house to get some food, but I heard some chopping noises and I instinctively knew it was you. Alan's eyes stared at me. I could tell his face just brightened up like that. Oh my, I forgot that Alan gets anime eyes whenever he's like this. Like, okay, in any other context, these would be yandere eyes, but like, he's just so anime. What the hell? Aw, you knew. I did. I could have sworn Alan giggled to himself, his face turning red, and he swayed around ever so slightly. I stayed a bit longer for small talk. I had forgotten why I was out here. asked Alan to accompany me. Are you interested in coming along with me to the store? Gotta get some food so I can stock up my fridge. Are we gonna steal stuff? His face grew sinister. I'm gonna guess he got excited about stealing again. Cool it, Alan. You might have swindled them by stealing candy bars, but I highly doubt we're gonna get away scot-free with actual piles of food. Oh, you don't know that. We're not gonna rob the store, Alan!
Ooh.
Alan poked out his tongue at me. Playfully, of course. I began to walk away, leaving him in the dust. His freakishly long legs only took 2 or 3 steps to catch up with me. Why are you so tall? We both walked to the convenience store. It was nothing more than just a casual hangout between us. As we entered through the doors, there was another employee, eyeing us suspiciously the entire time. I wasn't sure what their deal was. I wonder if they knew about Alan's shenanigans. They were mostly keeping an eye on him, glaring him down as Alan was invested in the rotating hot dog grill. They left us alone once I paid for my food. We got to my place, bags in hand, quite the walk, but nothing we couldn't handle. Doomsbury was ideal to walk around and go to places that were easily accessible. They say fall was the best time of year in this little town. I can already see some bright yellow and orange leaves cascading down from the trees before resting on the ground. It was pleasant to see the seasons change right before your eyes as time swiftly went by. Alan was right behind me. He awkwardly stood at the doorstep. His lips were pulled into a thin line as he seemed hesitant to enter. Don't be shy. Come in. I beckoned him to take the first step. It was like trying to let in a cautious, stray animal, lost and confused. Alan finally stepped in, the creaky floorboards of the house releasing a soft groan under him. Alan seemed to settle himself in immediately, heading to the kitchen first before I could even tell him where it was. I guess he was as hungry as I was. Yeah, this place is older than the town itself, but hey, it's home for now. I don't mind. You work with what you got. I dropped the bags of food on the counter, and Alan followed suit. I rummaged through, taking out the key ingredients to make breakfast. Or brunch by technicality now. I was surprised how much food I was taking out of the bags. I didn't realize my eyes were bigger than my stomach. Shopping hungry isn't really the best idea first thing in the morning, especially when you haven't eaten in a while. So, what are you in the mood for? Pancakes, breakfast burrito, eggs in a basket. Breakfast burrito. I'm in the mood for a breakfast burrito. They are really easy to make, and I'm so used to them. Well, that's not surprising. I think it's one of those staple foods every college kid gets, I assume. Anything specific you want to add? I'm not one to brag, but I get real fancy with my burritos. You could say I master my craft. Fancy? Alan cocked an eyebrow at me, curious about what I meant. I flashed him a smile, rushing to the fridge and pulling out some ingredients to make the perfect breakfast burrito. What's all this? Prepare to have the best breakfast that my tiny little hands can conjure up. My feet took me to the fridge, prying open the door. Still struggling with the stubborn handle, I managed to do it, thankfully. I turned my back to get anything else I need for our breakfast. I could hear some shuffling from behind me, followed by Alan positioning himself next to me. Let me help you with that, Doe Eyes. I jolted, startled by how close he was, but nodded as he settled in. You know how to cook, Alan?
Yes.
Actually, I don't really eat or make much food at home, but breakfast was always my specialty. Alan turned up the heat from the stove and placed a pan on top. He extended his hand out and I proceeded to give him the ingredients for our burritos. I could use this type of teamwork around. Specialty, huh? Am I in the presence of the finest breakfast chefs in town? Well, I learned from one of the best types of teachers. Oh? And who would that be? I wouldn't want to bore you with that. I let out an offended noise, placing a hand on my chest in a dramatic fashion. You're not going to tell me? Oh, come on! You can't just say that and not expect me to be intrigued. He's not gonna tell me. That's something that I noticed. Alan seems to know a lot more about me than I do of him. Keep the conversation going. Being mysterious all of a sudden. I quipped, crossing my arms across my chest while Alan kept silent. I caught wind of a frown on its face. It appeared I might have touched something sensitive that Alan doesn't want to talk about. Maybe I should lay off of him. The familiar voice of Alan interrupts my thoughts. He was leaning in closer by the second. I could practically feel his breath on my face, practically inches away. He was getting closer. Why would I not? Why would I not? Smooch! Yeah! I pressed my lips to his and he leaned in. Alan seemed like he had been longing for it. His hand raised to my cheek, craving more. He was nearly devouring my face like a starving dog. It's getting hard to breathe. I tried to pull my lips away, just for a moment to catch my breath. Hell. He smashed his lips again. I began to shudder. My hands made their way to his chest. It was a pathetic attempt to try and pry him away. The kiss was magnetic, and I only wanted more. Our hot breaths hit the other's skin. Who knew Alan could take my breath away?
Was that good?
Yes, very good, very good. Yes. I only let out a breathy, short laugh. I think you're rather greedy. Alan's thumb ran across my cheek affectionately. His touch felt warm and comforting. But I think I could get used to this too. There was a pause of silence between us, but the sound of my heart beating against my chest roared through my ears. I couldn't read Alan's expression. You can't? I can read it very clearly. He's very much in anime love right now. His eyes only staring into mine. What could he be thinking about? I think we should eat now, huh? We don't want the food to get cold. I awkwardly said, writhing within Alan's arms to the counter. And, sorry, I didn't mention this sooner, but I have to meet up with a friend later. Oh. Alan's face seemed to fall. All the joy and positivity now sucked out of him. You can come if you want. I'm sure Erica wouldn't mind. His face didn't seem to change expression, not even an eye twitch. Erica, he mumbled under his breath, carefully considering the invite. If you don't want to, then that's okay. Oh, no, I'm going. I blinked at him. Well, if you're sure. Alan smiled at me as I grabbed our plates. That was a little strange from him. I hope I didn't make him feel obligated to come with me. Oh, this scene. After some time, I was able to remember where the park actually was. I don't visit much, only came for the occasional walk. It wasn't too busy around this time. There was the occasional kid here and there. The place was often taken over by old people feeding the pigeons or students from the campus. If I was really lucky, I would listen to some live music from music groups and get tips from the locals. I even heard about really late-night college parties being hosted, but I wasn't usually invited to any of them. The telltale signs if a party did happen, the park will be littered with those typical red solo cups. I looked over at Alan, expecting him to have something to say, but I was met with an unpleasant look from him. He seemed off, his eyes scanning around, almost like he was on guard. He saw that I was looking at him and instantly smiled at me, trying to come off that he wasn't bothered at all. I nervously flashed him back a grin in return. Lion! I heard my name through the whole commotion of the park. There sat Erica on a bed of green grass, an intricate lacy pink blanket spread on the ground. Did she set this study date like a picnic? She even packed snacks and a drink. You made it. I briefly waved at Erica as we both approached her. Her usual apathetic face never faltered, even when she caught a glance at the side of Alan. Oh, you brought a friend? She looked over at Alan. She seemed a little taken aback. In all fairness, I probably should have advised her beforehand. You don't mind? Hopefully? There was an awkward pause. Erica nervously adjusted her skirt before giving a response, but she still kept a cool head. No, that's fine, but this means I didn't bring enough food to feed all four of us. Four? Lion! I heard a voice coming to my right, and I was met with a bright, cheerful face. Hey! Oh, hey there! I recognized that dorky smile from anywhere. Stu? My eyes slowly blinked, and the hamster wheels in my head quickly started to turn.
You're here! It's been so long!
I stood there for a couple of seconds, in complete shock. The bastard! I haven't seen him since high school! I couldn't help but smile at him. What the hell are you even doing here? You didn't tell me you were around. I wanted to surprise you. Isn't that cool? Erica said she knew you and agreed to invite me to the study date so we could see each other. Hesitantly agreed. Yeah. I didn't think to realize me and Stu were letting our conversation get in the way of the study date until Erica cut it short, clearing her throat sternly. Mind telling me that change of plans, Lion? Oh, right. I nervously rubbed the back of my neck and gestured to Alan, who was standing right behind me. I didn't take into account that Alan was being left out of our chit-chat and my reunion. This is Alan. We crossed paths not too long ago, like literally just yesterday. As soon as I introduced him, I was met with silence. Erica and Stu looked baffled. Alan hasn't even uttered a word. Hi. Alan's voice shook me up a bit. I couldn't help but let out a nervous laugh. Pleasure. Hey. Everyone falls into an awkward silence, only the natural folly of the park filling the dead air. I had to think of a conversation starter quick. Alan. I need to bring him into the group. That's what I need to do. I need to get him comfortable with everyone. So, Alan, I hope you don't mind me just studying. Today was probably the most boring hangout for us. Alan's face brightened up when I talked to him. It was like all his nerves completely melted away.
I don't mind at all. Anything for you, Doe Eyes.
Oh, he was using that nickname still in front of them. I could hear Stu muttering something to himself, but I was unable to pick up anything intelligible. It's too late at this point, let's slide. You feel uncomfortable, correct, Alan? You liked his nickname for you. Oh, hey. I liked it. And it's not like I've got history with Stu. Do I have history with Stu? I don't know. I like the nickname. It's no issue. I thought it was kind of cute. I look back to Stu and Erica, who we all silently agreed to continue the plan of the study date. We can study for a few minutes and have the rest of the hour to finish up the assignment. How does that sound? There's that then. I looked over at Alan, smiling up at him, only to be met with an unpleasant scowl. He was staring daggers to the two in front of him, but once his eyes met me, his expression softened. Unease fell to the pit of my stomach. Usually Alan was more or less talkative with me, but then again, he told me he never really interacted with anyone else. I'm the only one he had spoken to. Quite frankly, I thought he was kinda exaggerating. Doomsbury was a small college town. Almost everyone knew each other, even if it was through a friend of a friend. We all sat down together, all in a neat little circle. The basket of food perfectly sat in the middle. Alan sat the closest to me, dropping down to the grass and positioned his knees up to his chest. I saw Erica take out some assignments and a book we had been assigned. Should I go over the lesson for you? That would be nice. Erica nodded at me, graciously placing a pencil right behind her ear while flipping through the textbook. Throughout the day, we mostly talked amongst ourselves, while Alan and Stu sat in awkward silence. I looked over at Erica, noting how her fingers slightly traced over the text on the surface of the page. The book Erica was holding caught my attention. It looked rather old, the edges already fading from its original color, and the paper crinkled with every movement. So, what book did you pick up for our assignment? Erica turned over to the corner of the book, and I read its title. Whispers of the Hanged? The title sounded a little gruesome. So, what's it about? The actual history of the Salem witch trials. It goes through all the grim details of what women of that time went through, the excruciating executions. That's a bit barbaric, eh? That was a beat of silence. Erica gave him a look. I wasn't sure what to describe it. Was it anger, surprise, or both? I feel like I should say something, but I'm gonna ease the tension. It is barbaric, but that's history, you know? I forced out a laugh, trying to get the others to join. The only one that did so was Stu. Alan simply crossed his arms and Erica remained silent, but looked down at her book. Not a fan of real-life violent crimes. Or reading it, for that matter.
Good thing it's not your assignment then.
Well, so much for that plan. I did the best I could. The tension was so thick you could cut it. Hey, Lion. Stu waved in front of me, graciously saving me from this awkward moment. I hope you didn't replace me already. Look at you, making friends. I let out a sigh of relief, and I was sure that Erica did so too. All attention was now on Stu. If I knew him well enough, he would try his best not to appear socially awkward. Hopefully he can ramble his way out of this one. This takes me back to when we used to do homework together. Remember? Oh yeah, you copied off of me. You let me, and not all the time. Stu rambled on, his words, and let out a pout. We would study in that old treehouse of yours, when in reality we would watch anime. I smiled at him, memories flitting back, and with so much warmth still lingering in them. I was pretty sure Stu's parents knew we weren't even studying, but they didn't stop us. Stu gave me a smile, shuffling closer to me, naturally drawn to me again. Anime? I jumped, startled by Alan speaking. Stu appeared so as well, his face going white as he looked over my shoulder. I didn't even know Alan stood right behind me, his hot breath on my neck. Oh, hello. Yeah? Do you watch it too? Alan wasn't planning on replying anytime soon. He was like an on and off switch, only replying with as little to no words as possible and became silent again. Every time someone tries to calm down the situation, the atmosphere will become hostile again. I'm starting to regret bringing Alan with me. I tried to speak to, again...
Listen, man. I'm trying to be as friendly as I can with you.
Stu spoke up before me. There was still some hesitation with the way he spoke. We're trying. He proceeded to gesture to both him and Erica, much to her surprise.
I get that you're also a friend of theirs, and we don't have to be your friends, but throw us a freaking bone. You don't have to be here.
There was a beat of silence. My heart could stop right then and there. Who are you again? Do you even have plans after this whole college thing? From what I've seen, I can't really see you having a stable career. Any backup plans if it goes south? Oh, goddamn, Alan!
Okay then, that's it.
Erica closed the textbook she was currently reading. I think we should call it off from here. I blinked, a little taken aback by Erica's abrupt leave. Erica? I can't concentrate like this. We could try to plan out another day to study, hopefully with no other interruptions. There was a beat of silence as Erica gave Alan a side eye. Alan only drilled holes in her in return. Without a moment to lose, Erica packed everything, but let us keep the snacks she brought. See you around, Lion. Later, Stu. I watched her leave, feeling a bit defeated. Well, crap! I guess this is also my cue to leave, huh? I looked back to Stu, blades of grass falling from his pants as he patted himself down. Sorry things got out of hand, but you could hang out next time when you're free. Stu gave me a reassuring smile and bid farewell. He didn't even bother to say anything to Alan. Rude? I mean, I don't blame him with how things turned out. The dude's just awkward as hell. Well, that was a disaster. I couldn't stop replaying what happened over and over again in my head. Seeing Stu and Erica's faces be so upset and even unsettled, I just wanted everyone to get along, but... Still, Ice? Are you mad? Alan didn't seem to get it. Really? What makes you think that? I snapped at him, rubbing the bridge of my nose in frustration. I just wanted to go home, and here is Alan walking behind me like a lost dog. I didn't mean to upset you. Oh, so upsetting Erica and Stu was the intent, right? He winced as we both reached the door at the front of my house. Well, you did invite me. He spoke in a mumbling, soft tone. Alan looked down at the ground, anxiously hitting it with the tip of his shoe. His eyes looked at me, like if I just kicked the puppy. He had a point. I did drag him to the park, but how was I supposed to know he would have pulled a stunt like that? I felt like Erica was beginning to enjoy my company. Stu was there for me after so long. Was this whole thing my fault?
They shouldn't have left you.
Huh?
They left you. I know I'm not the best to be around other people, but that doesn't mean they can leave you behind when things get intense.
He's got a point. I don't know if my morals are just absolutely screwed. I mean, they are, but I feel like Alan has a point here. I didn't. I stared at him, and as he did so with me, it only hit me that unlike Stu and Erica, I didn't. I stared at him, and as he did so with me, it only hit me that unlike Stu and Erica, he stood by my side. I'm still upset, just a bit less on him. I don't know why I didn't expect him, a woodman all isolated by himself in some cabin, wouldn't get along with other people. Then, why is it when I interact with him, he's so easy to talk to? I sighed. Mind if I stay? Whatever. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some extra blankets and a pillow for you. Oh, you don't have to, Doe Eyes. I can't leave you pillowless, Alan. Besides, I'm kinda cold. I quickly ran upstairs to my bedroom, leaving Alan by his lonesome for now. Luckily for him, my bed was swarmed with multiple blankets and pillows. It was like my own little comfortable nest where I could rot away. I picked up a decently thick, cozy blanket and a pillow, bundling up in my arms, the corners dragging across the floor as I awkwardly made my way down the stairs again. I couldn't even see the steps of the stairs with this blanket wrapped around me like some sort of cocoon, but I managed to make it out alive. Alan gave me a smile, still sitting on my couch, looking like a dog waiting for its owner. Hand him the pillow. I decided to be nice, walking over to him and simply handed him the pillow. He gladly took it off my hands and placed it on his lap. I plopped myself beside him on the couch, throwing the blanket across the couch. It slowly landed on both me and Alan, taking its warmth. Now it was just us, opposite sides of the couch, in the cozy glow from the TV, in silence. Yeah, just us. Hey. I smiled warmly at him, but there was this dreadful, awkward silence between us. My eyes wandered off, panicking on what to say next. It's been a while since I've watched some TV. Thankfully, Alan brought up a topic. Well, we could watch some anime. I mean, clearly, you're going to need to catch up. Same. Haven't sat down in my living room and watched something in a while. I heard some shuffling from the couch. It was getting closer. You know, we're kind of having a Netflix and chill session. I nervously laughed, scratching the side of my cheek. What's that? Alan looked at me with those big, confused eyes of his. You don't know. Alan shook his head, leaving me dumbfounded. I guess that makes some sense. He lives out in the woods. He wasn't exactly someone I would take to understand modern slang, but he must have some knowledge, right? God, now I have to explain what that means. Well, it's like a thing people do. It's sort of a casual date or hookup thing, you know? That was a terrible explanation, Lion! So, do you want to call this a date? I mean, it's on the casual side, like you said. If it's too casual or something, we can just say we're hanging out. I could only look at him, too stunned to speak, but I sensed he was waiting for a response, for me to hint at something more. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Alan tilted his head to the side, like a confused dog. He had his whole focus on me. He shifted closer. Well, think about it. I gave it some thought, huddling my legs together. I was hesitant to answer. What could I even say to him? I wasn't even sure how to feel about the situation. Alan just walked into my life and he was just kinda here now. Like a pesky stray, following me around and refusing to leave. I occasionally looked back to Alan, those hopeful, puppy-like eyes staring back at me. I can't put my finger on it. It gets hard to befriend people as you get older, especially when you don't have a group to back you up. As I spoke, I didn't face him. My eyes stayed glued to the ground, piecing together whatever my mind thought of. But having someone like you immediately click, it feels freeing. There was a beat of silence before I felt some weight shifting on the other side. Next thing I knew, I was being pushed down to my back, Alan slowly creeping towards me. Then, that's a good thing, right? He had me cornered. The most I could do was just lie there, stunned.
I could get rid of everything for you, Doe. If you let me.
I swallowed nervously. I couldn't speak, like something was stuck in my throat. His eyes pierced mine. It was almost uncanny that I couldn't guess what he was thinking. What should I even say? It felt like an eternity of nothing but silence, and my heart beating like a drum. I wanted to stay quiet, as if silence would take me out of this situation. Well? But Alan is not letting go without an answer. I like him. Maybe I would like that. Maybe I like you. Alan huffed out a short, breathy laugh.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Don't do this to me! Not right now! I felt his calloused hands reach for my face, and he leaned in, sealing both of us into a kiss. It was desperate and needy. Alan clung to me like his life depended on it, and I didn't try to pull away. I couldn't help but find it intoxicating. I can barely breathe. Alan. I gasped out to breathe some air, leaving Alan breathing heavily and looking at me, those eyes gawking at me like fresh meat, starved. Immediately, Alan attacked the crook of my neck, peppering kisses and nibbling at my sensitive skin. Then he bit down. Wait, I know it's not the most romantic setting, but are we really doing this? Do you want to? Keep going. Yeah, I do. A devilish smirk appeared on Alan's face. What a good dough. He went for the same spot on my neck as before, to properly leave a mark on me this time. I felt a sting of pain as Alan sank his teeth. It wasn't deep enough to puncture skin, but enough to leave an impression. His head slowly dove further down, from my neck to my chest, and then to my stomach. Alan struggled a bit to get my clothing off, leaving my legs bare and vulnerable to the cold.
You know,
Oh!
I could get used to this view.
Hello down there! Just to be safe, we are going to ask him to stop. However, if you do want to see what happens if we ask him to keep going, Patreon is in the comments. Just gotta let you know that he's very good with his teeth. Very, very good with his teeth. Please stop. Can we maybe not? Alan's eyes softened before peeling them away from me. Yeah, sorry. We can stop. Alan pulled himself away from me, letting me sit up on the couch normally. I might have gotten a little carried away there. His voice sounded almost pained and disappointed. I awkwardly rubbed my arm and shifted uncomfortably. Alan finally looked at me, his eyes widening with a puppy-like stare. I couldn't help but feel a little bad for him. I should at least make it up to him, right? Let's just take things slow, okay? Here. Pat my lap. I straightened my posture and softly patted my lap. Alan looked a bit hesitant, but he followed suit, like a good dog. He rested his head on my legs, and I slowly stroked his hair. It was a little awkward, but we both warmed up to it. Comfy? Alan nodded, and we both sat in peaceful silence again. The TV softly drowned out our surroundings, and my eyes began to grow heavy. And that's the end of day 2. So that was day 2 of my Dear Hatchet Man. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And gotta say, the wait for day 2 was so worth it. I mean, this took quite a while to come out, but I'm so glad it's finally out. And I really didn't expect it. I really did not expect day 2 to be out this early. I mean, it's not exactly early, but still. I am so excited for the upcoming days of My Dear Hatchet Man. I am enjoying the rewrite. I think it's better paced. It seems that they're taking Alan into like a slightly different direction from what I initially thought he was going to be, but we're going to need to see like how he's going to be written as the other days come out. But in the meantime, hey, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.